Good morning, one and all. Now we are going to discuss about research methodology and tools of study in science of sociology. Just I give humble intro. Sociology is still in its infancy. Sociology is still in its infancy. It has therefore not been able to find a method of its own appropriate for its researches. It has, however, met with appreciable success in analyzing the social phenomenon, and its use of methods employed by other social sciences is quite proper. Sociology, like every other science, is an objective study of natural systems, and since the social system, like all systems, evolves in course of time, it must be investigated in very process of its evolution through methods used in such branches of study. As the social phenomenon is very complex and the data to be collected are very large, it is difficult to suggest which particular method should be employed by science of sociology. The sociologists have therefore been employing various methods for investigating social phenomena. According to Chapin, there are three main methods of sociology. Number one is historical method, number two, statistical method, number three, fieldwork observation method. According to Chapin, three classifications: historical method, statistical method, and fieldwork observation method. According to Elwood, Elwood has mentioned five methods of research. Number one is anthropological or comparative method. Number two, historical method. Number three, survey method. Number three, deductive method. And philosophical method. Once again, I repeat it. According to Elwood, Elwood has mentioned five research methodologies for science of sociology. Number one is anthropological or comparative method. Next one is historical method. Next one is survey method. Next one is deductive method. And last one is philosophical method. Likewise, Hart also has mentioned five methods, research methodologies. These are common sense method, historical method, observation method, laboratory or experimental method, and statistical method. Now we are going to share some most common methods of sociology, science of sociology. Uh, we everyone know Alistair Conde has coined the term sociology. Um, why the sociology is evolutioned is, as like Aristotle told, every human being is a social animal. He, every human being is um, having the responsibility or liability to interact with other human beings for survival. So when more than one person's human beings are available to avoid the conflicts, to uh, if they to find out the solutions for the problems in the implementation of social wellness, for the purpose for that need based only the scientific development of sociology occurs. Now we are going to share most common research methodologies and tools of studies of science of sociology. Number one is the scientific method or experimental research method. The scientific research method or experimental method. Every science employs scientific or experimental method for the study of its material. This method consists of observation, recording, classification, hypothesis, verification, and prediction. These are all the tools of study of the scientific research method or experimental research method. I once again say tools of research study of scientific method or experimental method are number one observation, recording, classification, hypothesis, verification, and prediction. Through these tools of study, through this scientific or experimental method, research methodology, we are trying to find out solutions for the social problems to attain social wellness. Likewise, the problem of objectivity in our science of sociology should be spotlighted. Sociologists always experience constraints imposed deliberately or informally, consciously or unconsciously upon them by the society. But that does not mean the abandonment of the objective of a generalizing sociology, although strict objectivity may not be attained. However, it is possible for a discriminative student of sociology to attain a reasonable amount of objectivity, which will be consistent with the logical and systematic thinking. In the research methodology and tools of study of science of sociology, this point should be operative portion. Each and every research scholar of sociology uh, can reach towards, although strict objectivity may not be obtained. However, it is possible for a discriminative student of sociology to attain a reasonable amount of objectivity which will be consistent with logical and systematic thinking. This is the need-based solution for the any social problems for each and every research fellowships in the sociology aspect, because sociology is not a 100% direct life science to assess and treat the problems towards the solution by subjective analysis. It is a life, it is a science, art, science of art. So we can assess and find out the solution for the problems through only the objective phenomenon. In this ignited mind, if we approach the research methodologies and tools of studies of science of sociology, we can do a noble research work to find out the problems, to identify the problems, to find out the solutions, to attain the social wellness. For that, I repeatedly share that this point. To attain a reasonable amount of objectivity which will be consistent with logical and systematic thinking. This is the research scholars should kept in our uh, common sense. Next one is the historical research method. The historical research method consists of a tools of studies such as study of events, processes, and institutions of past civilizations for the purpose of finding the origins or for the purpose of finding the antecedents of contemporary social life and thus of understanding its nature and working. So, um, historical research methodology and and its tools of studies like study of events, processes, and institutions of past civilizations for the purpose of finding the origins or antecedents of contemporary social life and thus of understanding its nature and working. Through this historical method research methodology and its tools of study, also we can find identify the screen the social problem, and we can find out the solutions to attain the social wellness. Next research methodology is comparative or anthropological research methodology. In this point, we should consider one point. The main task of sociology, as we have seen, is to ascertain relations and interrelations between different aspects of social life. Sociology cannot make proper use of the experimental method and all its various stages of observation, classification, hypothesis, generalization, etc. with regard to a particular social phenomenon in a laboratory as the physical sciences can do. But a sociologist can surely experiment in the laboratory of the world by employing the comparative method. This method involves comparisons of various kinds or groups of people in order to find out the differences as well as similarities in their ways of life and thus to find out clues to man's social behavior. In this comparative or anthropological research methodology, uh, we are observing this kind of salient features. This method has been used by many sociologists to find out what elements in social life are functionally correlated. Very interesting point to understand easily understand the research methodology of comparative method or anthropological method and its tools of study is uh, Taylor, sociological legend Taylor, always used this method, comparative and anthropological method. Taylor used this method in the study of the institutions connected with the family among primitive people and was able to show that the practice of mother-in-law avoidance was correlated with the custom of matrilocal residence. Taylor showed that in all those families where the husband goes to live with his wife's people, the practice of the mother in law avoiding her son in law is found. Similarly, Weber also finds direct relation between the practical ethics of the community and character of its economic system. So, very interesting comparative research or anthropological method is one kind of research methodology to find out the solutions for the social wellness for any problem. Taylor is interestingly documented one thing. Um, those families where the husband goes to live with his wife's people. The practice of mother-in-law avoiding her son-in-law is found. Can you understand? Likewise, Weber also find direct relation between the practical ethics of the community, and character of its economic system. These are the tools of study of the comparative or anthropological research methodology. Next, we are going to say inverse deductive method. Sociology makes use of inverse deductive method on a large scale. This method was advocated by J.S. Mill and involves the following procedure. It assumes that there is a relation between different elements of social life. By the use of Taylor's method of tracing adjacents, we inquire what elements in social life are functionally correlated. As we have discussed previously, Taylor had applied this method to the comparative and statistical study of the institution connected with the family among the primitive peoples, and showed that the practice of mother-in-law avoidance is correlated with the custom of matrilocal residence. Similarly, it has been suggested that there is some relationship between industrialization and capitalism, between urbanization and disintegration of the family, between war and class differentiations. Um, Likewise, the rise of nobility and the extensive development of serfdom appear to be correlated with the growth of the economic system. Secondly, after finding the correlation between the institutions, we come to the study of sequences, that is, finding whether there are any regularities in the changes of the institutions, and whether the changes in any one institution are correlated with changes in other institution. That is, we may inquire whether changes in class structure are connected with changes in the economic organization, or again whether changes in the forms and functions of the family are connected with changes in the economic order, in religious beliefs, or in morals. In this inverse deductive method, if the laws of correlative changes or sequences are established, they provide what J.S. Mill called the middle principles of sociology. The spirit of inverse deductive research methodology is, if the laws of correlative changes or sequences are established, they provide what J.S. Mill called the middle principles of sociology. Finally, such laws would not, however, yield the final explanation of social phenomenon. They would require to be related to more ultimate laws of psychology and social psychology, which govern the life and evolution of the human societies. As such, thus sociology cannot make use of either deductive method or inductive method. It makes use of inverse deductive method, which is a combination of inductive obtained by means of the comparative method or by statistical method with deduction from the more ultimate. The essential tool of study in this inverse deductive research methodology is, sociology cannot make use of either deductive method or inductive method. It makes use of inverse deductive method, which is a combination of inductive obtained by means of the comparative method or by statistical method with deduction from more ultimate laws. Next, we are going to share the ideal type research methodology and its tools of study. The ideal type method of investigating social phenomenon has been expounded by Max Weber, Simmel, and Durkheim. According to this method, an ideal is constructed from concrete cases, and then a particular case is evaluated according to the degree of its approximation to the ideal. For example, if a sociologist is interested in a social problem, say of friendship or a democracy, he will create an ideal conception of friendship. ideal conception of democracy on the basis of concrete cases, and then he will measure the particular case of friendship or working of democracy in a particular country uh, to that ideal and ascertain its value accordingly. According to Weber, an ideal type of social behavior involves a description of certain aims and normative controls from which springs a notion of the rational course of action. The ideal type analysis and scales of personal values have proved very valuable for descriptive and analytical studies. Um, this method has further been employed with profit in Marxian interpretation, whether the ideal types are classes having conflicting objectives. These are the tools of studies of uh, ideal type of research methodology. Uh, to simply understand, this method can be used, number one, as a means of interpreting particular situations. Number two, as a generalizing concept by means of which we can disentangle a similar element from the variety of its manifestation. Number three, as a means for detecting the causal force of other factors. Each and every research methodology in science of sociology has its own pros and cons. Likewise, this method has its own difficulties. The construction of an ideal is not an easy task. It is a subjective process. Influence of personal preference cannot therefore be ruled out in constructing an ideal. Secondly, the ideal once fixed cannot be good for all times, as it is liable to change with the change in situations. Thirdly, this method is not adequate to understand the complexity of the society. Interesting in sociology is everyone have a belief this one is the ideal according to my uh, culture, custom, religious practice, or my son of soil, or my nationalism. Um, uh, uh, Based on that, we have some ideal. These are things are ideal. All should be like this. But uh, in this method, the ideal type research methodology of Max Weber and Simmel and Durkheim, this method is not adequate to understand. It is a complexity of society. So in a complexity of society, we cannot find out, we cannot force all to be ideal, because the ideal once fixed cannot be good for all times, as it is liable to change with the change in the situations. Previously, we thought that kingdoms are ideal. King never does wrong. He is the representative of Almighty. But after that evolution, historically, we come to democracy. Now we are thinking democracy is the ideal, but it is also it is should also gone towards the evolution, because the ideal once fixed cannot be good for all times, as it is liable to change with the change in situations. This social phenomenon is the operative portion for the any identification of social problem and the screening of the social problem by a research scholar, and to find out the solutions for the research methodology. Next, we are going to share the statistical research methodology. Um, the statistical research methodology is used to measure social phenomena mathematically, that is, with the help of figures. According to Bogardas, social statistics is mathematics applied to human facts. This is the major criteria for this. Much of the research work in sociology is currently being carried on with the help of the data collected through statistics. For example, in studying population, migration, economic condition, human ecology. But the great difficulty in adapting the statistical method is the mostly the social problems are qualitative and not quantitative. So, in a operational research methodology, there is a two kind of for research. All research scholars Surely no. There is a qualitative analysis method and quantitative research analytical method. Statistical method is social problems are qualitative. So quantitative analysis or quantitative research based works are quantitative analysis based results cannot occur. This one is important. In American sociology, statistics have played an important role. There, sociologists have been able to reduce more and more of sociological data to quantitative terms and thus to deal with them statistically. This is the positive in American sociology. Next, we are going to share sociometry. Sociometry research methodology. A new method of sociometry has been recently evolved by some sociologists for the measurement of such non-statistical relations as ENVY, class conflicts, social adjustments, etc. Sociometry is a set of techniques to measure in quantitative and diagrammatic terms attractions and repulsions in interpersonal relations. The approach has been very useful in the study of small group structures, personality trait, and social status. It discloses the feelings of people have for one another and provides various indexes or measures of interaction. The sociometric test can be very helpful in the assignment of personnel to work groups in such a way as to achieve a maximum of interpersonal harmony and a minimum of interpersonal friction. So ultimate spirit of the social research is to achieve a maximum of interpersonal harmony. To achieve the maximum level of interpersonal harmony and minimize the interpersonal friction. Next, we are going to the social survey research methodology. The social survey method consists in the collection of data concerning the living and working conditions of people in a given area with a view to formulating practical social measures for their betterment and welfare. The social survey method research methodology and its tools of study is very practically useful in my personal experience of application of sociology. See, uh, if we are going to find out one problem of one society, and we are want to solve that problem, we should go to that site and we should perceive through our senses, uh, and we should uh, classify the what are all the um, geographical and all the resources availability. That kind of correct terminology is social mapping is the right terminology. If we are whatever what problem may be sociologically, whatever problem, if we go to that spot sighting, uh, and we 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 equip the social mapping by collecting, by visualizing all that current place situation, we can get the do's and don'ts, goods and bads, and available resources, positive indicators, negative indicators, all the practically we can get through the social mapping, and we can also directly connect with that people. Uh, there are more possibilities of solving the problems in social mapping. That social mapping is derived from the social survey research methodology. Social survey is concerned with the collection of data relating to some problems of social importance with a view to formulating a constructive program for its solution. It is conducted within a fixed geographical limit. Social surveys are of various types, such as number one, general survey or specialized surveys, direct or indirect surveys, census survey or sample surveys, primary surveys or secondary surveys, initial or repetitive surveys, official, semi-official or private surveys, widespread or limited surveys, public or confidential surveys, postal or personal surveys, regular or ad hoc surveys. In this method, research methodology of social survey method, especially I term it is a kind I term as a social mapping method. It involves following ingredient steps. Number one is definition of the purpose or object. Number two, definition of the problem to be studied. Number three, the analysis of this problem in a schedule. Number four, the delimitation of the area or scope. Number five, examination of all documentary sources. Number six is field work. Number seven is arrangement, tabulation, and statistical analysis of the data. 8 one is the interpretation of the results. Number 9 one is deduction. Number 10 is graphic expression. These surveys are very useful as they don't only provide detailed accounts of the social and economic world, but also bring home various social ills prevalent among the people of the area concerned and thereby draw the attention of the government to eradicate these evils by passing appropriate legislation. America and England have been making use of social surveys, both general social mapping and specialized social mapping, since long on a very large scale to solve some of their social problems. In India and other underdeveloped countries are also now benefiting from social surveys, both in the urban and in rural areas, which they are conducting either on their own or with the cooperation and help of the other advanced groups. Next, we are going to the case study research methodology. A case study is defined as an investigation of an individual or group in which the variables which are measured and whose empirical relations explored are characteristics of the individuals or group. Sorry, not a subunit of it. It is a form of qualitative analysis involving the very careful and complete observation of a person or a situation or an institution. In the words of Young, the case study method may be defined as an all-inclusive and intensive study of an individual in which the investigator brings to bear all his skill and methods as a systematic gathering of enough information about a person to understand how he or she functions as a unit of society. Sorry. Casework is based on the principles of acceptance, self-determination, and confidentiality. These are the tools of study. Principles of acceptance, self-determination, and confidentiality. Casework is used in variety of settings such as child care and child guidance institutions, schools, colleges, medical and psychiatric settings, family welfare, marriage counseling centers, institutions for the old and infirm as well as the handicapped. Sorry. And also with the people who suffer from addiction, character disorders, emotional disturbances, and the like. So this one is important method, the case study method. Next one is questionnaire and interview research method. This one is questionnaire interviews are very common and popular research tools of study. The questionnaire is a list of important and pertinent questions concerning a problem. Interview method interview method consists in having direct personal contact with persons or groups concerned who are. So questionnaire and interview research methodology is very useful. Next one is the public opinion poll method. This method is used to seek and gauge the beliefs, sentiments, and attitudes of the public on any given proposition. Public poll is very popular in America, where data regarding public opinion about various social, economic, and political situations are collected through this instrument very frequently. The public gives its views by answering yes or no and don't know to proposition. The results of the public poll help the authorities concerned in modifying the policies accordingly. In a recent world, the public opinion poll method research methodology is very useful. This is because this succeed because of people's participation. Next, we are going to say the Verstegen approach. Verstegen research methodological approach. This method for the study of social phenomena has been advocated by some sociologists, of whom Max Weber is perhaps the most notable. Verstehen is a German word which means understanding. Verstehen, Verstehen. Verstehen is a German word which means understanding or comprehension of sociological problems. The advocates of this method maintain that the observed facts are of little significance unless they are evaluated through discovery of their inner meaning. It is evident from the nature of this approach that it can be used only by such persons who have a gifted mind and a high level of education and intelligence. Moreover, this method should not be used exclusively for understanding social problems. It's Moreover, this method should not be used exclusively for understanding social problems. It should be utilized along with the scientific or empirical method. Only then it would yields best results. Miraculous technique. The Verstegen research methodological approach in sociology. Explaining this technique, further C.H. Cooley in his Life and Student writes that understanding is developed from contact with the minds of other men through communication, which sets going a process of thoughts and sentiments similar to theirs and enables us to understand them by sharing their states of mind. Highly intelligent quotient and highly emotional quotient research methodology. This Verstegen research methodology and its tools of study because of its uniqueness and popularity. Finally, we are going to say functionalism or structural functional research methodology. The approach of functionalism is being given great importance in the study of social phenomena by some sociologists. By this method, we try to interpret any part of society in terms of its functions and not in terms of its utility or origin. Functionalism, in other words, refers to the study of social phenomena from the point of view of the functions that particular institution such as family, class, political institutions, religion, etc. serve in a society. It is a functional analysis of the different parts of the society. According to R.K. Merton, it depends upon a between theory, triple alliance between theory, method, and data. Function is the contribution. Sorry. Function is the contribution which a partial activity makes to the total activity of which it is a part. Functional method assumes that the total social system of the society is made up of parts which are interrelated and interdependent. Merton has mentioned the following major procedures of functional analysis. Number 1, establishment of functional requirements. Number 2, explanation of structure and process. Number 3, search of compensating mechanisms. Number 4, detailed description of the structure. Number 5, detailed description of the functional systems. According to Merton, the following points should be carefully studied in the functional analysis of social phenomena. Functional analysis of social phenomena is the tool of study of the functionalism or structural functional research methodology. Number one, location of statuses of participants in the social structure, alternative modes of behavior, description of attitude towards the pattern, motivation for participating in the pattern, associated unrecognized regularities of the behavior. The functional approach was employed by sociologists like Comte, Spencer, and others, and anthropologists like Malinowski and Radcliffe. From American sociologists like Parsons and Merton have elaborated this method and given it the name of structural functional method because of the emphasis that it lays on the social structures or institutions in studying the social phenomena. Structures refer to those arrangements within the system which perform the functions, while functions deal with the consequences involving objectives as well as process of patterns of action. Each and every one has pros and cons. Likewise, functionalism or structural research methodology also is not proper to lay all the stress on the functional aspect of the society. Each social institution has uniqueness of its origin, utility, etc. Moreover, the society is dynamic and this static approach is not going to take us very far. So, still now we have shared some major research methodologies and its tools of studies in science of sociology to find out the social problem and to find out the solutions for that social problems to keep our society wellness, social wellness. um, Reference books of this research methodology is G.C. Lewis's Methods of Observation and Reasoning in Politics, page number 165. Then Bogart's Sociology, page 546. ODM Understanding Society, page number 45. Smith James Elementary Statistics, page 8. Abraham Mark Social Surveys and Social Action, page number 1. Peasants and Peasants Modern Society, page 11. Corday and Cart Methods in Social Research, page 33. Lundberg GA Social Research, page 183. This is and thanks for all of you for given a noble opportunity to share research methodologies and tools of studies in science of sociology to find the solutions for the social problems to attain the social wellness. Um, all the best wishes. Thank you.